An unlucky day.
A ghostly face peeking up at them from inside the toilet.
How South Florida prepares for Friday the 13th. A preview to race weekend.
I think I've finished in about every position possible.
Caplin News brings you the latest from Daytona. And reliving the moment.
I was on the mats before I was even born.
A halftime show performer describes her experience at the Super Bowl. These stories and more coming up on Newsbreak.
Hello, South Florida. Happy Friday. I'm Brenda Miranda.
And I'm Sara Mallorca. Today is Friday, February 13th, 2026.
Live from the Lee Caplin School of Journalism and Media in North Miami, this is Caplin News.
Prospects for Cuba remain uncertain as the fuel crisis continues. New updates this morning as Cuba continues to face a worsening fuel crisis.
2 Mexican Navy ships arrived in Havana providing humanitarian aid to the Caribbean island. This marks Mexico's second shipment to Cuba as Mexican President Claudia Sheinbaum pledged to continue sending aid. Senior researcher Emily Morris describes the ongoing situation.
I think, as long as it seems to last. But people are really suffering. I mean, the power cuts are very, very long, and it's made everything very difficult.
Cuba's crisis comes after the U.S. implemented sanctions on countries that supply the country with oil, which was prompted after the operation that captured Venezuelan President Nicolás Maduro.
Continued developments this morning surrounding the White House governor's dinner as President Trump defends his handling of the event and governors respond with a new public statement. Caplin News reporter Lucas Bogardis has the latest from Washington.
After confusion earlier this week about the National Governors Association dinner at the White House, President Trump is now pushing the blame on NGA Chair Governor Kevin Stitt. In a post on Truth Social, President Trump said, quote, "Invitations were sent to all governors other than 2 who I feel are not worthy of being there," adding that he expects most Republican governors and some Democrats to attend. The 2 governors left out of the invitation are Wes Moore of Maryland and Jared Polis of Colorado, both Democrats.
We focus on getting things done for our people, and we're not interested in being able to go to fancy dinners with the president if he wants to exclude certain members.
In a statement to Caplin News, the office of Governor Jared Polis said that it was disappointing that the federal government is pushing back on what states are doing, and that Polis will continue to work with fellow governors regardless of which events Colorado gets invited to. The dinner has historically served as a key opportunity for governors and federal officials to discuss policy priorities, disaster response, and federal funding regardless of party, making this year's political tensions a rare break from the event's traditional bipartisan tone. While the event is scheduled for next Friday, it is still unclear who will attend and if it'll be as effective as it has been in the past. Reporting from the White House, I'm Lucas Bogardis, Caplin News.
Spooky vibes are in the air today for Friday the 13th, and while most people avoid walking alone at night, some in Miami Beach are actually paying for it. Our Caplin News reporter Valeria de Souza takes us on a tour exploring the hidden dark side of the city.
Like any other day, Miami Beach is booming with life, but at night, these buildings tell a different story. From mob operations to World War II stories, these untold tales still haunt places like the Betsy Hotel, the Versace Mansion, and the Tides.
When you see them on TV, on the movies, you know about it and what happens inside.
That's exactly what Emma Dilone, a tour guide for U.S. Ghost Adventures, offers audiences from all over the globe.
Those are really interesting because then you get to see and meet people from everywhere, and they all have their own kind of ghost stories, you know?
This is an EMF detector, a device that helps detect electromagnetic fields or paranormal activity. Emma uses those devices every week as she brings the spooky experience while exploring the hidden truths that lie behind the glaring neon lights.
It's a ghostly face peeking up at them from inside the toilet.
For her, it's more than the scary stories.
I love to see the reactions on people's faces.
But more about giving tourists and locals a new way to see the city.
Nice to hear about because it adds a little bit to the overall experience that you have walking through the city.
For the real horror fans out there that might have missed today's Friday the 13th, don't worry, there are still 2 more throughout the year if you still want to experience Miami's haunted past. In Miami Beach, I'm Valeria de Souza, Caplin News.
The world's top women's pool players are in South Florida this week competing in a historic tournament in Broward County.
That's still ahead, and so is this story.
I became like her uncle. She's like my little niece.
A South Miami martial artist steps into the national spotlight after appearing in the Super Bowl halftime show. Newsbreak will be back in 2 minutes.
Really use a new tablet. I just don't have the money.
Let me ask you something. Do you have a Pell Grant?
Yes.
You do know you can get a free tablet, right?
Did you say free?
Yeah, free. It's simple. And the application is done in the store.
I could really use a tablet.
Go, get one. Another satisfied customer. Stop by Panther in the Graham Center at FIU MMC today to speak with one of our associates to get your free tablet.
Type 2 diabetes can have a big impact on your life. But how can it be prevented? Well, the first step is knowing if you have something called prediabetes. Take the 1-minute risk test today at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Miami martial artist shares the stage with Bad Bunny in last week's Super Bowl halftime show. A South Miami martial artist is making her mark on the national stage after performing in the Super Bowl 60 halftime show.
Nicolette Esper shows us how Juliana Ramos Ortiz turned years of training into a career in the spotlight.
Right through these doors is where Juliana Ramos's journey first began.
And Juliana was something else.
And it's where discipline and perseverance became a way of life.
Juliana Ramos has been training here since she could walk. Now she's performing on the biggest stage in sports. Today, Juliana is a world-class martial artist and stunt performer, carrying her roots far beyond this dojo. For her, martial arts was never just a hobby. It was a family tradition.
While my mom was pregnant with me and I was in the belly, my dad had a karate school in Hialeah, and so, I was on the mats before I was even born.
Better Families Through Taekwondo in South Miami has trained families for decades, passing down values from one generation to the next.
When I got into stunts and the film and TV world, not only was it my skills that made me a standout, but also those tenets.
She's got incredible work ethic and someone that is always open to becoming better.
Her foundation in martial arts helped open doors into Hollywood and into major live performances.
Our work ethic and all the things that we do in silence and behind closed doors, without an audience clapping for you, are all the reasons why we were top picks and the people that they called for this Bad Bunny job.
For her instructors, her success represents more than fame.
I became like her uncle. She's like my little niece, And to be able to see achieving all this, it just brings happiness to me.
From this studio to international stages, her story continues to inspire the next generation.
Alrighty, Masters. So after learning some interesting facts from Juliana and you as well, I think it's time for me to test out the waters a little bit on this mat.
Next level.
Yeah.
Boom. Now do it when I grab you. Whoa, good. Boom. You You did great.
Okay, some a little bit. I think it might need a little bit more learning, hopefully, to come back here. But for right now in South Miami-Dade for Caplin News, I'm Nicolette Esper.
The world's top women's pool players are in South Florida this week competing in a historic tournament in Lauderhill. This event marks a major milestone for the Women's Professional Billiard Association, hosting one of the most important tournaments in its history. I went to the opening of this event to experience it firsthand. Inside Classic Billiards in Lauderhill, players fill the room, warming up for 4 days of high-level competition. This year, $50,000 was added to the prize money. With veterans and rising talent sharing the same stage, it's a race to stay on the winner's side.
This is going to be a tough one to win. I'm just trying to get as far as I possibly can.
The WBPA brings some of the best players from all around the world to compete right here in South Florida. And they're all playing to win the largest prize fund ever offered at a pool hall tournament.
We have 17 different countries representing here at Classic Billiards, so we're very proud of that, and the growth for juniors has grown drastically as well.
Crowds gather and sit around the featured table as Kelly Fisher and Jeanette Lee are announced to face off once again. Lee, known as the Black Widow, has been open about her battle with stage 4 cancer and says it feels good to come back and compete.
It feels like I've been away on a long trip and I'm finally back home.
Here, Jasmine Oshun and Cheska Centeno is stepping up to the table. Top-ranked stars like Pia Filler and world #1 Christina Tkach all in action for a spot in Sunday's finals.
I'm really excited to see more events, bigger prize money, as for this tournament we never had 50,000 added. So it's a huge milestone for women pool, and hopefully it's going to keep growing.
This may be even stronger than the world championship caliber that we had.
Jasmine Ocean! The tournament will continue through Sunday when a champion will be announced. Fans can still attend in person or watch the matches live online.
Cars that roar like thunder have arrived in Daytona for the Great American Race, the Daytona 500. Caplin's Dylan Pizzay is at the track and has everything you need to know before the roar on Sunday.
The opportunity to be able to do that, and I've come down here a lot of years, and I think I've finished in about every position possible, so it'd be nice to close out 2026 with a victory here in the Daytona 500.
In most motorsports, after a qualifying session, the order is set, the fanfare is over, and the drivers can begin to look forward to race day. However, the Daytona 500 is not like most NASCAR events. Wednesday night sees a traditional qualifying, but that only sets the front row. The rest of the pack is decided through 2 races called the Daytona Duels.
Daytona 500 could be a total wreckfest, because if you think about duels, it's a heat race, and everyone's like, well, don't tear up your car, get what you can out of it, but don't crash. And we wrecked a lot of stuff, and that's everyone not racing for the Daytona 500.
Not only will it already be tricky to navigate a pack of cars at over 200 miles an hour, but the forecast for the Great American Race does not look promising, with wind speeds potentially in excess of 20 miles an hour.
Generally speaking, when you have the wind blowing at your door and kind of at the left front area off of turn 4, which it sounds like, I haven't looked at the wind direction, but if that ends up being the case, then definitely makes things more challenging for us. That's a really tricky spot on the track.
The Daytona 500 will be run Sunday at 2:30 p.m. Reporting in Daytona, I'm Dylan Pizzay, Caplin News.
From everyone here at Caplin News, we want to wish you a happy Valentine's Day, but unfortunately, that's all the time we have for Newsbreak. I'm Sara Mallorca.
And I'm Brenda Miranda. Get more news anytime at caplinnews.fiu.edu.